based on the hour of night. Either that or somebody's trying to break in. It's A or it's B. You would think I'd be more concerned about that, but honestly, if somebody's trying to break in, it would be like, why? This is one of the houses that has all the lights on. I could just imagine, you know, those memes that you get where like the person's sitting up at like 3 a.m. at the kitchen table and just like eating sliced cheese and shit like that. And like somebody breaks in and they're just um, like they don't know what to do. And they're just sitting there looking at you and you're looking at them and it's like, mate, of all the houses. All right. A little bit better. I don't know which layer I put this on. I think I put it on the one with the hair. It's fine though. I'll collapse this layer down and I'll remove some lines that I don't want to be in the way. For right now, it's helping because I don't want certain lines to just collide with this. I might do. Let's hide that. I want the ribbon lines. I want these hairlines to stay floating because I don't want them to be in the way of this. And I'm also missing, now that I realize it, missing a line here. That's on a razor. Honestly, with like the way everything has gotten expensive and difficult for people to live, I'm not really surprised that more and more shit is happening at night. Or just like in general. That one back on. It's one of those things, like, make it hard for people to live and they'll do what they can to live. Okay, I don't want that line there. That's the line I don't want. There's 1 pixel right here. I can remove it. Maybe your pair won't be touching. There we go. See what I can do with lifting this up and putting it on the right layer that I want. But open you up, paste, and anchor it, please. Okay. Now if I turn that off, the hair's floating. Good. Good. That's what I want. I just want these couple of strands over the center of her hair to be floating. Welcome back, Grim. You missed the deep dive into the lore of Kelly Venus. You can watch that awkwardly later if you feel like it. Oops, that's on a 1. I also showed some stuff that I'll draw later that also fits into it. There we go. No. She's a sorceress, not a wizard. Sorceress don't... well, some of them do. This one doesn't. She has a ribbon. That's her hair ornament thing. Beyond that, like I said, I realistically probably just want to add in a like a little blankie, and or maybe her holding some coffee or something like that. Because like when I start streams, I'm legit holding onto coffee while I'm chatting. Sounds like a scam. You stay wary, Grim. Don't let nobody like talk you into like spending money. And yet like Grim will turn around and be like, hey, there's a game. Or it's like, so Generation Zero, Grim. How you feeling about that? Oh, that reminds me. Grim, did your roommate end up finding the coffee you left on the floor? And at what hour of the night did they find it? It's had me concerned for like a day. I had to ask you sooner. Repurpose wizard hats for sorceress. Jesus, guys. Alright. I do know you pretty well, Grim. It comes with years and years of conversations. And I'm not just talking like generic years. I'm talking about like fucking playing 7 Days to Die for like 18 plus hours a day for several years. Kind of depth. I'm gonna get there eventually. I like how we have the curiosity about the coffee and then Grim goes silent, thus perpetuating like the ever-loving silence. What's that? Yes, you moved it to the table. You're going to be an a-hole and let him walk into it and thought about it, and that would be messy and you have to clean it up. That would be so fucking mean, though, Grim. Like, that's one of those things where you have to think, like, if you wanted to do it, you know, the 2000, the $25 for the little black dress. Like I said, I only increased it because you get to choose, like, hair color and shit as well. Beforehand, I think it was like 10 bits. Like, I don't mind making it 10 bits if you want to like activate it, but at least all the base forms have been activated now. That was the only thing I was trying to prevent. Realistically, I'm waiting to see some people activate some of the meaner shit because like I don't know how I'm just going to deal with that. Like, you guys have been like pretty good so far. But like, I'm going to have the absolute like ever-loving shit scared out of myself at some point. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. I'll probably have like rocking back and forth trauma for weeks. All right, well, that's her head part done at least. Top part of her body. Plus, also, don't forget it's a complete override for the rest of the stream. Nobody else can change anything. Okay, I think this one's fucking hard to figure out where I'm going with this line. Three. There we go. The funny thing is, you say about like the inflation and stuff like that, I'm like, you're not wrong. It's been fucking awful. Yeah, it's kind of right. All right, let's take... I don't need the squiggle lines on it yet. Man, the urge to fucking sing anything and everything that plays on Skits Mix is strong. You should lurk. You're a bit sleepy, to be honest. Doesn't mean you'll be falling asleep, though. I don't know, Grim. What's it? What's a fucking meme? It's like 60% of the time it works 100% of the time or something like that. 100% of the time it works 60% of the time of you falling asleep. Very close line. I think the odds of you falling asleep if you're lurking are so much higher than if you're doing like anything else. Which is kind of funny because tonight I've got like the techno music going, so it's a bit difficult. I obviously can't get the swoop the way it is. And I know that here I connect up a second bit, so I only need to swoop it to here. What? Nearly? Yeah. That was close enough. Sort of close enough. It got about halfway. You fall asleep to death metal blasting. I can believe it. Like, if it's your choice of music, it's very easy to sleep to it. I had a dickhead neighbor once that was like every fucking night consistently loud as fuck. And I spoke to them. I was pretty nice to them. Like, I gave it like a couple of days. I'm like, obviously people have parties and stuff, but these people were just consistently loud for days, and it drove me mental. And at the time, I was working 3 jobs, and I was working from... I think I started work at 5 a.m. and I didn't finish work until 11:30 p.m. and I had to get between my 3 jobs throughout the day. And I remember saying to them, because like I only had a few hours that I could sleep at night, because I still had to like, get basic things like groceries and exercise my pets and do all the normal things that adults do, like, making food. And yeah, I remember speaking to them and they were just like dickheads about it. And I'm like, look, I know the layout of your house. Like, I I built this place, right? So let me just clarify something. I can sleep through my music. My speakers are up against your bedroom, which is also against my bedroom, except I can sleep through my music. And I'm betting anything you can't sleep through mine. And after about 4 hours of me blasting music, they conceded and settled the fuck down. And I never had a problem with them after that. It was just one of those ones where I'm like, are you serious that I had to go that far? That it ever needed to go that far? Like, I was nice about it. I was nice. I went over, I gave them days, and I explained my situation, and they just couldn't give two fucks. Ironic music. But yeah. And the best part, though, was all my pony music on blast. That's probably the best part. I have all sorts of stuff. I've got music in all kinds of languages. I don't have them all in this list. But yeah, I had some. I've had some interesting neighbors over the years, actually. I would say probably my most interesting neighbors weren't the ones that went to jail, were probably more likely the guy at my last place who hated one of the tenants. And every week religiously on bin day, he would go and put a 2-week-old spoiled milk in the guy's bin for him to wash out because he used to store his bins in his garage. They were probably the most interesting ones. They fucking hated each other. And all as I learnt from that was not to piss off that one guy that had like the spoiled milk. Not that I stored my bin inside, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't exactly have a front external hose that I can clean a bin. Oh, come on, Line. Line is being brutal. There we go. I got part of it done there. I swear, some of these fucking lines are so difficult. They're so overly smooth, and my mouse just is not equipped for it. And it's definitely not about it. It's just like, you want a smooth line? Yeah, that ain't happening. I'll tell you what, though, my aim by Friday for PUBG is going to be absolutely shit. It's going to be pretty funny. If nothing else, it will be worth watching. Kind of not bad line, actually. Oh, actually, I can work with that. Hold up. Somewhere about there. Not quite. All right. Go up a little bit more. Sort of, but not really. Like, this bottom line's not right. I feel like a lot about this bottom line is not right. Stop popping out. Jeez, stay. Stay where you belong. All right. I think the problem is that it kind of squiggles, so it looks unusual to me. Probably be right, honestly. Not much I can do about that one. All right, yeah, that looks a bit better. I'm not going to be doing all the big swooping lines because what I learnt from doing my avatars was I don't really need a lot of big accentuating lines to figure out where her hair goes. I just need the point ones that tell me where it stops. Where I'll probably bring up. Holy crap, that's exactly one of the lines. The only problem is I need to pair the exact same thing basically beside it. Huh. Not sure how that's supposed to connect though. It's more like that. Something like that. I'll figure it out later. Sometimes with hair, the hardest part is figuring out exactly what line's supposed to stop and do what exactly. Like in here, it's very obvious that I have multiple strands. For me, anyway. If you guys are watching it, you may not necessarily identify exactly where a line is or what it's supposed to be doing. I also know from my own type of drawing style what I'm kind of doing with these, and I have to kind of pick and choose eventually which ones will stay. Because, like, with my avatar, her lines were crisp, except for the side of her head, where it was like going up to the ribbon that wasn't so obvious. What is this? Bruno Mars. Nope. No. Sure. There's some Savage Garden. I'm thinking I'll see how I go. I was going to just keep going until her line art's done, but I don't want to completely, like, fry myself doing this. It's actually a very good line then. Yeah. Yeah, this one's pretty quiet. Let's skip it. Not that one. I want River. I like River more. I have a lot of anime music in here. So you guys are always welcome to ask me what kind of animes and stuff I'm into. I know the other night I was talking about actual Avatar, like, with Aang and stuff, and I completely forgot. I don't know how the fuck I forgot. But, like, Toph is literally probably my favorite character, and when I was asked, like, who my favorite characters are and stuff, I don't know how I just didn't say it. It was one of those things where, like, you forget it. Like, it's so much at the forefront of your brain, your body just kinda, like, goes, we obviously probably said that already." And, skip that bit. Yeah, I thought I'd said it, but I looked back later and I'm like, apparently I never mentioned that I actually like Toph Beifong. She's like my favorite character in Avatar. Like I like obviously like Sokka and Zuko and stuff. Ironically, even though my cat's named Azula, I don't like the character Azula. I just like the name. I know that this is a clip from the actual anime. I just didn't expect it to be so wordy. Doing Azula, you get too hot, did you? It's all right, darling. Still not liking this line. That's better, in a sense. Finally. That line was a bitch to do. Save that. All right. Most of her hair's in place and most of her upper body's there. Be her torso and her legs are going to be a fucking nightmare because they're just such smooth lines. This is where, like, I don't have much room for error when drawing like this. It gets so difficult. I know, I feel like that side's going to be easier than this side to draw. So I'm starting on this first. All right. Also, sometimes it does help where I actually position this on the screen. Like that. Very close. This is smoothed down a little bit like that. Such a fine fucking line. Mm. I feel like this outer line is correct. It's central one. I did fix it up. I got it right. But it still feels like it's wrong. Nah. It's slightly wrong. It's just pixels, barely pixels wrong. There we go. Better. I know you guys probably watch it and you're like, oh, you're crazy. It looks fine. And I'm like, nah. If it's not quite the right line, it just drives me mental because I know it's wrong. Okay. Very hard to tell which line this is supposed to be. Nope. I like this one. Oh, breaking the habit. So dramatic. I've got it as a Mew Mew Power AMV. All the nerd. All the cat girl nerd. Actually, to be fair, I go by geek, not nerd. Geeks and nerds are officially different creatures. Slightly different. Not by much, but just enough that it matters to me. Okay. It actually went a lot better than I thought it would. I haven't even done like the star or her necklace or jewelry or any of that crap yet. Ugh. I do actually have a belly button marker here. That's going to help when it comes to coloring. I know it's like negligible in the actual drawing itself, but that's going to help me figure out shading around her stomach later. All right, which way did I come from? Sharper to not as sharp. Yeah, they came down that way. Almost. Almost in a lot of places. Wow. Okay. Definitely got a bit wonky on this line. It's okay, Azula. It's Phoenix. You can clearly see he's grooming himself. She's all like concerned. She doesn't need to be because she can see him. All right. Move that out. Moment when I can't remember which direction I brought the line down on. Oh, good lord. Fuck is that? Samsung Gerard in flute format. Fabulous. I didn't even know I owned that. Obviously, back when that was like the height of like memeing, I definitely did. I don't think I could sit through the whole thing though. Yeah. All right. I already know her legs are going to be a fucking nightmare. Honestly, I might actually stop. I'll just make sure I've got all my lines and stuff where I need them to be. Just want to have a look at what this is, and then I'll probably stop in a little bit. These ones are floating above it. My only thing with her is if I was to draw, let's bring out another line here. If I was to color this, not that, make it a blue or something. I'll do it. If I was to bring this across, not with the eraser, Jesus Christ. Something a bit more condensed than that. I'm not really one for these kind of lines and stuff, but I do know that they help. When doing that, right, that is pretty accurate across there, and then I'm supposed to have like one up here or something like that. Still, she's in the right fucking direction. I would say, if nothing else, perhaps I really think it's something to do with like where the eyes are here. Like it needs to be probably not to that degree. Oh, not that. I've never used these lines, so I don't know how to use them properly, but agree. I might as well have a look at them. You fucking double undo. Yeah, redo that. My guess is, I'm guessing what seems off is like generally her nose would be a little bit more further forwards for that kind of point, which does make sense. Like I could move that backwards, and over half would be like that to that. Her eyes are still in alignment. Still looks fine to me. Yeah, no, it looks... I mean, the more I kind of leave it, I'll bring them back. No, don't try to save and do weird shit. Leave that there. I'm going to say... let's see. So I've got this for last time. Lines are 3 picks. Let's grab that. Make that like, I don't know, 250. Do that. There we go. That'll be its own file save layer. I feel like the other ones are hidden, but they're just that light. Hide that. Yeah, that'll tell me what to do next time because I'll forget what width these are. Like I can line them up, but if they're not all perfect, it's not going to work quite properly. I can sit here and do her legs. I'm just getting like to a point I'm tired. And I'm like, if I go for another hour, I know I'm going to be like cripplingly tired. I might as well just stop and leave more of this for later.